Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Waldron, and in this video we've got Trumpeter with a nice in-box review of their Chinese J-20 Mighty Dragon, and that's the prototype number 2011. Now this is in 1/72 scale by Trumpeter, and nicely it is only about £25, and it's a brand new tool as well. I think it was like last year or something when it was released. So let's open this up and check it out. Well, first off, this is a nice sort of new prototype aircraft, and we'll just start straight away with the sort of the main big part of the aircraft. And what I've done is I have just put a little bit of a wash down, just so as you can get a better sort of clearer view of the type of surface detail we've got, which we do have some very sort of nice recess panel lines going on here. Not really seeing any rivets along here. Maybe it could have done with maybe a little bit more surface detail, but then it is 1/72 scale. Notice there's a little bit of a mark just here. It doesn't feel like it's supposed to be there. It's really sort of strange. That will probably be needed to be sanded away, and maybe even a little bit of filler on that. We've got all sorts of other bits of detail. I do like the engine exhaust. There is nice recess panel lines all the way along here. Does look rather nice. We've got the bottom part of the nose section, where we've got again some detail there. The recess panel lines, they do look to be in scale. We've got probably some air intake fans just here. Moving along to our next piece, which is the bottom part of the main body of the aircraft. So, you know, we've got two big pieces come together, same sort of level of surface detail, and then we've got all this sort of open area, which is probably going to be like landing gear, weapons, bay doors, and all this cool stuff. We've got some wheels just here, which are two halves. Not really much detail, but I suppose these are only the actual tyre parts. Moving along, we have a couple of sprues just here, so let's get this one out. This one's got a few bits of detail and stuff. Opening this up, you really start to actually, there's quite a nice bit of detail just here. Well, first off, we have the air intakes. Nice and smooth, no ejector pin marks on the inside, which is rather good to see. Then we have all this cool detail for like weapons bays, wheel well doors, and I'm not seeing ejector pin marks inside these either, which is rather good. Cool, very nice rib detail on here as well. Just turn this over. Quite plain on the opposite side, but that's probably the way it's supposed to be. And again, there's lots and lots of pieces like this. It really sort of brings out the detail, and the ejector pin marks aren't in any nasty places either, although there is some here, but we potentially won't see them because they're like right in the corner, although there is one there and there is one there, which is kind of a shame actually, because this was really going well with the ejector pin marks. I was doing a good job, and then I've just seen this piece here. We've got 1, 2, 3 ejector pin marks on there. Maybe, I mean, we've got them on here. Maybe this is maybe more of a structure thing, and we won't really see them. But we'll check out the instructions in a bit. We've then got some cockpit detail just here, which in our tub here, there is a bit of flash actually, a little bit just around it, but that's not a big deal. We've got lovely button detail inside here. In fact, this is quite an impressive kit for 1/72 scale when it comes to you know, all this detail. We've got our ejector seat here, which is definitely looking good for 1/72. Instrument display panel. Hopefully the decals will have some sort of screens to go in there. Really looking pretty good. We do have some weapons just in here. I'll just leave it in the bag, no point getting it out, just to move things along. And then we have some sort of finer pieces here. I've been wondering where the glass parts are, and they're actually really nicely packaged into this. So I'm going to get this out. So just rolling this out, what do we get? Well, we look like we've got a really good clear canopy just here. There's no seam line running down the middle, there's no cracks, there's no scuffs, there's no cobweb effects. Top notch for canopy, which is good to see. We've got some more weapons here, as you can see, just some air-to-air weapons, nicely separately bagged there. Let's get out our decal sheet, let's check this out, which we just need to cut this across here very carefully and not cut any decals, right, because we don't want that to happen. Right, and then when we open this up, well, first off, it's looking quite glossy. We do have those instrument display panels, which is rather cool. There is like sort of like what looks like a bit like map detail on here, which would be cool to put down. We do have, you know, some markings here that do look colourful in registry. The small writing is almost sort of readable actually, which is rather good. Not much on the decals, but you know, it is a prototype. It is sort of like a standard sort of markings. Then if we just take a look, actually no, we did miss a little bit. For 1/72 scale and for £25 they put on in a little bit of photo etch as well, which I do believe those are tiny little seat belts, which is rather cool because you don't really normally see that in 1/72 scale and stuff. Rather interesting. We've got some advertisement, then we've got this big sort of A4 booklet that folds out, which not really much on the front. We've got a call out for all the different sprues, and it starts off with, interestingly enough, not the cockpit, it starts off with the whole sort of landing gear area and wheel wells and stuff, which looks, I mean, you know, it's sort of normal quality paper, black and white, but you know, we can sort of see the way it's all sort of going together. We've then got the front part of the wheels and the wheel well, weapons going into the weapons bay, right, and we do have a nice array of weapons that come with this. Then it starts going through into air intakes and the bottom part of the main aircraft. Then we have our cockpit. You know, nothing really to write home about. I'm not seeing any sort of major options with this kit. It does look like we then put the front nose section in with the cockpit, and we've done all this, by the looks of it, you do all this work before you actually bring it all together, right? So finally at the end you bring it, the actual aircraft together, which is kind of interesting how basically all the work is done before you bring it all together. So you might want to not sort of start from, you know, point one and sort of maybe leave some of it and sort of maybe bring it together and work on it that way, which is what I would probably do. Then we've got the final little bit of photo etch here and there, and I suppose we can have the weapons bay area doors open or closed, and that is fine. You can have obviously your canopies open and stuff. Apart from that, not much on the options. Then we have what is one nice good quality piece of paper, which sort of shows colours, markings, decal layout. It does reference quite a few sort of actual colour paint manufacturers here. We've got Mr. Hobby, Vallejo, Model Master, Tamiya, Humbrol, Mr. Colour, Mr. Hobby, Vallejo, yeah, you know, you get it. There's quite a few on there, gives them nice numbers, so it's nice that they put that in there, but never sort of take those colour call-outs 100% if you really want to go for those exact colours. So all in all, I think this is actually a fantastic kit, and if it goes together nicely, you really can't beat it actually. You know, there is some really nice internal detail in there. Decals look nice, canopy looks nice. You know, I mean, it is a pretty good kit, and for the price, £25 is rather sort of nice. I mean, it is 1/72 scale, but it is a jet. You do get a bit of photo etch. What's there to grumble about? It really does look rather nicely detailed for a 1/72 scale kit. So hopefully you have enjoyed this inbox review of Trumpeter's. Crikey, what was it called again? The Chinese J-20 Mighty Dragon. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. So until next time, my name's Bobby Waldron. I'll catch you next time.